This is the SpaRetailer Podcast, where we talk retail, business, and all things related to the hot tub industry. I'm your host, Megan Kendrick, owner of SpaRetailer Magazine. Today on the SpaRetailer Podcast, I have the pleasure of having Fred Bachmann, the owner of Bachmann's Pool Spas and Saunas up in Wisconsin on. Fred, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So you've actually been a target of mine to get in the magazine for a while. I went to my first Watkins or Hot Spring conference last year when you guys stood on stage and unveiled this gorgeous showroom, one of the best I've ever seen. And I was like, we have to have that store in the magazine. They're beautiful. I would love to take pictures of that store and talk to them. And then for whatever reason, it didn't work out. Well, then this year when I go, then you guys turn around and win the Locks and Thompson Award, so I was like, okay, well, now it's going to happen. I'm going to make this happen. We're getting them in there because we've got this beautiful showroom and now they've won this big award. And now you're here. So I'm very excited to get to talk to you today.
It's been a good run.
Yeah.
Last few years have been a good run. We actually renovated our store in Madison about a little over 3 years ago now. And we got an award for that store too, and that inspired me to do the Brookfield one. And so, yeah, we've got two of the nicest stores in the country. I know that doesn't sound great, but
I will attest, and people are about to see it as well. If they haven't already, I mean, it is a great showroom and pictures of it have been floating around in the industry, I feel, for the last couple of years. So yeah. And I agree, like they both look great. So I think it's okay to say that. Plus, you spend a lot of time and money and energy putting them together, so you should love them, right?
Well, it's sort of a leftover from COVID, because during COVID, it didn't make any sense to spend money on advertising.
Right.
You know, when you're out 9-10 months on being able to get hot tubs, it just didn't make sense. So I plowed that money into store renovations.
A lot of people did. I mean, I think that is one of the kind of the good things, unintended consequences, if you will, that came out of COVID is, suddenly everyone kind of had a little extra cash to redo their stores. And we have seen some really, really great remodels and new locations come out of that for sure. So Fred, I don't know a ton about your background. I mean, how did you get into the hot tub industry? Did you grow up in Wisconsin? Is this where you've always been?
Yeah. In fact, went to school in a small town only 12 miles from our Madison store, Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I've heard of Sun Prairie before. I don't know why, but I have.
It's a growing community. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than when I was there. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, did you have parents in the business, or how did you end up in pools and hot tubs? I mean, that's not usually any of our, life goals, is to end up in the hot tub industry.
It's kind of a unique story. My original career is a second generation building contractor. So my mom and dad started Bachmann Construction.
Okay.
Shortly after he was in World War II. So shortly after he got back from World War II, he started the family business in 1954.
Okay.
And my brother, sister, and I took over the company when my parents retired. That was around 1980, 81, 82, somewhere in that range. My dad kind of stepped aside slowly.
Okay.
And so we built that business. So how I got in the hot tub business, if you want to know, is in 1984, I had a construction project downtown Madison, whereas it was a hair salon.
Okay.
And the owner of the hair salon wanted to build two private rooms with hot tubs in them so that clients could rent them out and use them, right?
Okay,
and
interesting.
So being frugal, I wanted to try to get wholesale pricing. And so there was this company out of Bettendorf, Iowa called QCA, Quad City.
Oh, I know QCA, man.
Do you? Okay, so I called them and I said, what's it take to get wholesale pricing on these? Well, you got to buy 3. So my sister wanted one. And so I got 3 of them and did the project. And then the carpenter that worked on this job was a really good friend of mine and worked at Bachmann Construction his entire life. He injured himself on a bobcat accident shortly after that job. And I think he was trying to create work for it. He came to me and said, Fred, the hot tubs are a thing of the future. We should sell them. And he was trying to get
Yeah.
his leg up so he could sell hot tubs. And so we ran this little bitty ad in the Yellow Pages. Yellow Pages were a thing then, right?
Yeah.
And so Al Baumkamp was his name, and he passed recently. But I think we sold one hot tub. But we set up a little showroom where our construction company was as an industrial area, and so really didn't have my heart into the hot tub thing. It was more for
Yeah.
Al than it was
Yeah.
for anything.
Yeah.
But that little ad, this was back when Watkins was a Fortune 500 company, and Matt Teague, that name might ring a bell for you,
Absolutely.
was going around with a Buick pulling an indoor-outdoor spa on a trailer.
Yep.
And he was not, if you know Matt, pretty persistent. He was not going to leave Madison without signing somebody up. It was late in the day, and we were the last ones. He got no's all day, came by, and had that hot tub on a trailer, hits it with a baseball bat. And
Yes,
my construction,
I've heard of his sales pitch of the baseball bat.
so my construction background, I realized then that hot tub at the time was better built than anything else, and I kind of wanted one myself because my sister enjoyed having her hot tub,
There
right?
you go. Yeah.
So I asked him, "What's it take to become a dealer?" He said, "Well, you got to buy 3." So I got one, and my brother got one, and he comes back, Matt, being Matt, comes back around 3 weeks or a month later and says, "Hey, you sold 2 of them." Because
Self.
we have a hard time telling one was in my backyard, one was in my brother's backyard. But he said, "But you always need to show 3 of anything, otherwise it doesn't look like you're in the business. You need to order more." You can't say no to Matt Teague. So I ordered more.
Yeah.
And about a year later, he comes around and says, "You're dying down here in this industrial area. You need to find space on Stoughton Road." And that's where we're at now. And so he'd actually negotiated a lease for me, a little 1,200 square foot space, $500 a month. And I
Okay.
said, "Okay, Matt, I'll do it." Right. And then our business just started to grow gradually. Again, my heart wasn't necessarily in it, but
Yeah.
I loved hot tubbing, and Matt found a great location for us. I think the story here, more than anything, is Watkins Manufacturing. If you follow what they have to offer,
Yeah.
they won't let you fail. Matt would refuse to let me fail,
Mhm.
and their whole everyone within the organization has that mentality that they're for you.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
a
I was
Watkins.
Yeah,
Go
well, I
ahead.
was gonna say, I mean, going out and finding you a store and getting you a good deal on a lease, I mean, that sounds like above and beyond for a rep. I mean, is that still the case? I mean, do you feel like reps to still would go the extra mile like that? I mean, that's a lot. Or do you think it
Well,
was just the time? I mean, that was early in the hot tub days, right? I mean, like that was kind of when the hot tub industry got started. So I think maybe that was just everybody trying to build this category.
yeah, I remember Matt saying, "Once we get 100,000 hot tubs out there, you won't even have to spend money on advertising."
Right,
But
right.
so I think in the late 80s, Madison has large lakes. Okay. And so in the wintertime, the lakes freeze over and they have this competition. It's called ice fishing shanty competition, where
Okay.
people design their ice shanties, and they give first, second, third place awards. And,
Okay.
and so I put a hot tub out on a frozen lake, 200 yards out, ran hoses out there and filled it, had a generator.
Oh,
And I
man.
entered we didn't win, but it was really good publicity.
Oh, I bet.
We made the front page of the Metro section in the newspaper, and I mean it was a really good promotion because back then people thought, they didn't realize hot tubs could be so portable. You thought they
Right.
had to be connected, you had to hire a plumber, just a big ordeal to
Yeah.
get a hot tub. And
Yeah. I'm
having one out,
surprised at the people who still think you need, like, a plumber to install a hot tub, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
yeah, yeah, it's the things that question still does come up. You're right.
Right? Yeah, it's crazy. So when you guys got started in the early '80s, were there other hot tub people in Madison, in your area? Were there other hot tub stores, or were you guys kind of the first ones?
We were not the first one. There was another one, but by the late 80s and early 90s, we had probably 6 or 7 competitors in the Madison area.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
that was like, I don't know, the beginning of the hot tub thing in our community. But there's really only about 2 or 3 of us, only 2 of us doing it right in the Madison market now.
Okay. When did you go from this is kind of a side thing I don't really care a whole lot about, to being like, oh, I think I want to invest a lot more time and energy into the hot tub side of my business.
Pinpoint that for you.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
great.
it was 1994. I went to my first Watkins sponsored marketing seminar,
Okay.
and I think it was in Kansas. And I met Molly Flement was her name at the time. I works for Watkins too. She was the marketing person for Mountain Hot Tub.
Okay.
And when we're at this seminar, the the instructor or the leader of the seminar asked part of it, how many people here in the group? There's probably 20 of us, 20 different stores represented around the
Hmm.
country. How many people have had a truckload sale? And about 4 or 5 hands went up in the air. Mine was not one of them. And Molly's hand went up. And this, how many people sold every hot tub on the truck? And a couple of hands went down. How many people sold more than a truckload? And there's 2 hands up. How many sold 2 truckloads? And Molly's hand was still up. So I sat next to her
Yeah,
after
that's
after
that was
break.
smart. That's who I
And
was sitting next to too.
and she was wonderful at sharing information, how she made that happen, and marketing strategies, and just a lot of little things. Make it look festive was one of the big messages she kept telling me. This got to be perceived that's a big event, and I realized how expensive this was going to be, and I honestly didn't have the money then, so it was a big risk. If we didn't sell hot tubs, we were going to be in trouble.
Oh,
But
man.
we ended up selling like 60 hot tubs in a
Oh, okay.
4-day weekend, and it was
Yeah,
off to the so that was a pinnacle. That was a turning point for me for sure.
that's
I mean,
amazing.
this really could become a real business someday.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So did you guys still do I mean, did you guys still have the construction company and still do that up to a certain point? Maybe you still do, or is that now not part of what you guys do anymore?
So we have very similar logos. It does still exist. My
Okay.
niece is now the CEO. My brother's retired or mostly retired. Brother and sister bought me out 18 years ago.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm full time doing the hot tub and swimming pool thing now.
Yeah. Yeah. And you do and I well, that's a good point. So you guys do also do pools then.
Yeah. So I didn't really do pools much unless it was part of a construction project, like a condo
Mhm.
development. Then I would put the pool in. But I wasn't actively pursuing residential pool jobs. When I didn't need another construction company. It
Right?
was I was working so many hours back then. It's something had to give. But
Yeah.
yeah, once I exited Bachmann Construction, I started building pools here more. We sold above grounds
Okay.
retail, but we didn't really do in grounds unless it was part of a bigger construction project prior to 2008.
Oh,
2008 was when
sure.
I was bought out, which I had good timing exiting at that point.
I was gonna say, yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense that you would be adding the new categories in 2008 too.
Yeah,
Weren't we all?
yeah,
So when did you so you have 2 stores now, right? The one in
yes,
one in Madison and then one in Brookfield.
correct.
When did you expand to add a new location?
Just over 6 years ago, we acquired the hot spring dealership in Milwaukee. It was formerly known as Wolf Pools and Spas.
Okay.
And Mike Wolf just had enough of it, I guess. I don't know. And so we negotiated a deal, and I acquired it 6 years ago.
Okay.
And I had to, I assumed the lease that he had, so I had to fulfill the terms of that lease. And while I did, I was searching for my own building, and that's how we ended up bought the building. And I mean, that's kind of what's given me staying power when the economy isn't so great
Yeah.
is my construction background because the building that we occupy in Madison is I've got several tenants here. So, hot tub business doesn't go real well. My tenants basically help me make my mortgage payments, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So so it gives you some staying power, and that's a formula that's worked for me. And
Yeah.
I've got that going on in Milwaukee now too.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I've talked to a couple people recently and just, over the last couple of years, we've done a lot of like succession planning, articles and webinars and all of that. And it's so interesting how the real estate becomes a big part of a lot of these deals and a lot of the reasons why and how people retire and still kind of have an income, especially like if they're being paid off the business over time. It's like that kind of added aspect. So It's interesting. I feel like I've been talking to business owners more and more about that, about owning their locations and then yeah, making them a money earning asset for them in their business and then, like you said, having tenants and all of that. So yeah, it's kind of become, I feel like, an important part of the puzzle for a lot of people.
It's an extremely important part of the puzzle for me and our retirement plans and dreams. You bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're trucking along with your hot tub business. You get bought out of the construction side of the business, and then in 2008, which obviously that's when I started in the industry with was 2008. Just a great time to be coming out of college and looking for a job and then getting into the hot tub business of all things. What was that period like for you, the recession? How did you guys make it through that?
We relied a lot on our service department.
Mm.
Started to add, at the time we called them chemical routes. We now call them valet routes because it
Yeah, yeah,
sounds
yeah.
better. We just did whatever we could. We were frugal, and that's a perfect example of how owning the real estate helped me carry through the Great Recession. And I was, still in pretty good shape once things started to turn around, and around 2015, 2016, things started to turn around a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that was
It was long. Yeah.
it was long. I
Seemed,
feel like I feel like, some industries bounce back pretty quick, but like the hot tubs, it felt like it was just a very slow climb back up to, what people would call normal numbers, new normal.
we were definitely on a growth pattern,
Yeah.
but then COVID hit and it boomed.
I
It
mean,
just boomed.
who would have thought? I mean, I was thinking lately that I feel like we need to go back and have people retell their COVID stories because I feel like at the time it was just so frenetic and we're talking to people about it and it was just no one could really kind of grasp it. And so I feel like now that we're a couple of years out, we need to go back and start asking people those questions again about what that time was like with a new perspective because I think it was just insane on all levels. Like your whole life just felt a little out of control. And then for people in our business, it was just the busiest they've ever been in their entire careers.
We were fortunate, like most hot tub dealers, that we could remain open. I don't know if you recall this, it wasn't all that long ago, but a lot of businesses were forced to close.
Yes.
We were determined to be essential, or I don't know if that was the word,
Yeah.
um,
Essential. Yep.
essential business because we sold chlorine. We
Mhm.
use a sanitizer, and they can consider it to be essential. So we were able to keep our doors open, and the people that did venture out and weren't necessarily afraid. I mean,
Yeah.
the streets were empty for like a year.
Yeah.
There's no traffic problems. God, it was so weird when looking back at it. But
It was bizarre.
we're one of the few stores open where you could. So we're just lucky. We're just really blessed with the ability to be open, I think. And fortunately, no one close to me or any of our employees or close to our employees passed away because of COVID.
Yeah.
So, but it was a real thing. I get it. We were careful. We wore masks. We had sanitizers.
Yeah.
I remember we had one employee come down with COVID and we shut the store down for 4 days. I
Yeah.
flew somebody in to give COVID tests. This before you could buy them at Walgreens, right?
Oh, wow.
And I actually flew in a nurse to test everybody in the back
Wow.
parking lot. I've got
How
pictures
how
of it.
did you even find somebody to do that?
I just knew it was important to stay open, and everybody wanted to stay open. We kind of
Yeah.
took a vote. Should we close? And nobody wanted
Yeah.
to close. So
Oh,
to stay open and minimize my liability, this was the route we went. I talked to an attorney, and
yeah.
he said you need to have a professional come in and test your people.
How was
Yeah,
how was she able to how was she able to test them? You said when there weren't tests available. This just kind of blows my I've never heard this is something new. I've not heard no one else has told me that they did this. And so now I need all the details.
I gotta find these pictures, but we're in our warehouse in the back, our service center warehouse, and she had a little table set up, and she was
Yeah.
testing people, and you'd have to wait. I can't remember. You give blood, and you wait 10 to 15 minutes, and then you're either positive or you're negative. And I remember standing in the back parking lot. There was
Oh
at the time
man.
we had 12 or 13 employees is all, but I remember high fiving. I don't have it.
Oh, man, so she had to draw your blood to do the test.
Yeah,
That is crazy. Goodness, man, I remember talking to Jerry Greer from Core Covers and in Mexico, surprisingly, they were very, very strict. And so he had this whole setup where and you forget that these things happened where before you could enter the building, they would swab you and take your temperature. And
yeah.
then if you tested positive or had a fever, you had to go into this special quarantine tent. And it was just man, having your blood drawn before you go into work, that's next level.
It really is. Yeah. Well, we only had to do that once, fortunately. So it was what a weird time though. When thinking back on it, that was a really weird time.
It was yeah, I'm not sure I mean, it's gonna take, obviously, like, decades before I think we really understand all of the implications of what happened then, of course. But when did you? Because I think for all of us business owners, there were a few weeks there where we thought we were all out of business. I was drinking a lot of bourbon. So, but I mean, when did you know that it was like, I think this could be a good thing
I
for our
no, I can
business.
tell you. I can absolutely tell you the worst day of my life,
Yeah.
and looking back, one of the best days of my life.
Okay, I gotta
It
hear.
was it was like, not exactly the day it was the worst, but sometime early or mid March, we were out to dinner with our family, and they announced that they were going to cancel March Madness basketball tournament.
Right.
And I'm
Yep.
thinking, and you got to remember, this was just not even 6 months after I acquired the Milwaukee market, which cost me some money. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I really gonna be destroyed financially.
Yeah.
And I was having I was pouting. And my son-in-law,
That was me drinking the bourbon. That was just me
yeah,
pouting,
well,
100%.
my son-in-law said, just basically says, you know what, most optimistic person I've ever met in my life. You'll get over this. Stop bitching about it and just do something, right? And
Yeah.
so and it wasn't me. It was just I could April 9th. It was about a month later after that dinner, and I thought the world was coming to an end.
Yeah.
April 9th, I noticed people coming into the store. It's like somebody flipped a switch April 9th, and everybody in Madison had to have a hot tub. And
Yeah.
same thing in Milwaukee. And by the end of April, I realized I was not going to have enough hot tubs.
Did you when did I mean, did you were you one of those people that got in early, got a big order in early and kind of missed that
I,
initial hump, or were you stuck waiting and
I
waiting
was so
all the
lucky,
way?
and I was well. We just coming into spring, and Watkins always has they don't call it an early buy, but in January they have their conference.
Sure.
And if you
Yeah.
if you buy hot tubs from them, then they give you an accessory with each hot tub that you order at that event. And they also offer you Wells Fargo floor planning. You don't have to pay for them for 6 months.
Yeah.
And so I ordered 6 truckloads, which was way more than I've ever ordered in my life.
Oh,
And
man.
so, well, and believe me, I was worried about that in March
I bet you
because
were.
those
Yeah.
tubs were just starting to show up.
Uh-huh.
And when and I'm like, oh, and I got to pay, and I just, it's of Milwaukee. But looking back, and I wish I would have ordered 12.
Of course. Of course. Yeah, but I mean, but again, how fortuitous that you had at least
Yeah.
ordered the 6 to kinda get you over that initial rush of people.
Yeah. So yeah, it was interesting.
I feel like, April that early April, I think, is when they'd canceled school for the 3rd time, like, 2 more weeks of no school, and you're like, "We're not going back."
Yeah.
I think that's when it hit everyone, all of the families, like, "No, I'm stuck at home with my kids for who knows how long. We've got to entertain them somehow, and fast." So, yeah, it was like, get me a hot tub, get me a play set, get me some outdoor furniture, anything to
Yeah.
get these people out of my house.
The home improvement sector definitely did well for those 2.5, 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it was yeah. When did how for you guys, I mean, it was one of those things where it's like we knew this wasn't gonna last, right? These high highs. Like it just was not possible, right? Like this was going to end in some way somehow. And even though we all knew that, I feel like at some point there was for every business there was a surprise where it was like, "Oh, we are not selling very many hot tubs anymore." Did that come to you guys or was it more like a gradual did you fall off a cliff or gradual or how did or not? Maybe you're one of those people who just for somehow kept it going forever.
So to answer we had 1 year where we went backwards, but only by about 2 or 3%. We are
Okay.
now way ahead of even our best year during COVID. I think part of that is the Milwaukee market was underselling. And so
Mm,
acquiring the Milwaukee market and plowing money into these two beautiful stores.
yeah,
And so we've been on a steady growth pattern other than I think it was 2021. We went backwards just a couple 3% is all. But we've this year we're looking at over a 22% growth this year over
that's
last year, having
amazing.
10, 12% growth every year. This year it's really taking off.
Man. I mean, that's not the story that I normally get told these days. I mean, everyone hedges a little bit, but you can tell in their tone that this year in particular, not going the way that they had hoped. So, man, that's so interesting though that I mean, so do you think what else do you think you're doing that's helping kind of propel this growth? And a time where most people in our industry aren't growing right now.
Well, I'm aggressive with my market.
Yeah.
And, I've always said, go big or stay home. And that's one of my statements. And it said, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. So I am a risk taker.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I plowing money into advertising and we've got a great product. We got products. Watkins makes great products and people want them. And we just
Yeah.
need to remind people that we're here and I put a lot of effort into making sure that our service department is second to none. We have really good employees,
Yeah.
and we work hard at maintaining a good margin because margin is really what makes the world go round. If you make enough money, you can afford good employees. You can afford good vehicles. Equip your employees with all the tools they need. Send them to training. I mean, I'm a big believer in sending people to training. I learned that from the construction industry. Kind of a funny thing. We used to go to these Jack Miller seminars. It was a big popular thing in the construction industry. And dealers would show up or not dealers, contractors would show up and they would share information. And it was kind of unusual because, I mean, most construction companies are not nationwide. They're
Right.
localized. And so sharing information with a contractor in Texas and vice versa, it doesn't hurt us. And so that whole sharing thing, they now call it best practices. We
Right.
back then we said
Yeah.
stealing ideas. This is in the early '80s that we did this,
Yeah.
and so this guy Jack Miller, he was telling you gotta send your people to training. And when one of the guys in the audience raises his hand and says, "But what if you spend all this money training them up and then they go work for one of your competitors?" And Jack's response was, "What if you don't train them and they stay?" So
Yes.
I mean, you think about that. I'm a big
Yes.
believer, and I've lost some employees, mostly to their own businesses,
Right.
but I don't regret training my staff. You
Yeah.
have to have well-trained people in each position.
Yeah. So I want to get we're gonna have to come back to the training, but I'm curious about maintaining your margins, especially when you've got, the supply chain craziness and price increases during COVID. And then you turn around and you have, the ups and downs of tariffs this year. I mean, as you're, trying to maintain your margin and planning your year and doing all that, how do you do that when you've got, costs fluctuating in ways that they just don't normally do?
Well, I learned from the past, and this year I actually did order 12 or more truckloads early,
Okay.
and I got
Okay.
lucky. I got lucky because I received them all before the tariffs hit.
Yeah.
And so when the tariffs hit, I raised my prices. And, Watkins is absorbing a lot of the cost of the tariff increase for us
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
need their dealerships to be successful.
Yeah.
So I raised our prices, but if you buy one in stock, the price was about the same. So I think that's part of the reason we've had a really good beginning of this year. Most all those hot tubs are gone now. So
Yeah.
everything I'm selling now for the most part is a little bit higher price.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm absorbing some of that increase. Our margins are a little bit lower, and I think everybody has to be somewhat lower because of
Yeah.
tariffs. We can't pass that all on to the consumer if we want to
Mhm.
be successful.
Yeah.
It'll come back.
Yeah.
It'll come back.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons why people are absorbing those costs too, is because I don't think anyone expects it to stay this way forever, right? Like this is something that
Right.
will come and go. And so you just kind of have to ride that wave a little bit. Yeah, I think it makes it more difficult, right, as a business owner to plan when you kind of have those kinds of unknowns. But, when I interviewed Steve Hammock when he was retiring, he had a couple of things that he talked to me about, things that he was concerned about for our industry. And one of them was pricing. He's like, "I'm really concerned that our products are getting too expensive, that we're reaching like the peak of what people will pay for a hot tub." And since he's retired, I mean, it has not gotten better,
Yeah.
right? It's only gotten more expensive. But I mean, I think the wild thing is that like I mean, you're kind of a testament to that. Like people are still buying hot tubs. Like they're still spending money on these, expensive products. Why do you think that is? Why do you think hot tubs are still enticing to people?
Well, I like to, in my marketing, I like to emulate the automobile industry because they do it right, and each one of them has a lot of competition,
Yeah, right?
both on service end of things and the way they do their marketing. If you shop for car pricing, you know how much the cars have gone up in value, or at least cost, put it that
Yeah.
way,
Yeah,
since
tell my
COVID.
car's not gone up in value.
No, well,
But yeah, they've
it
gotten they've gotten
probably
very
has.
expensive.
I can't buying service vans. I remember almost pulling the trigger on buying 2 of them right after I acquired the Milwaukee market, and I remember they're like $18,000, and I didn't do it, and now, it wasn't even a year and a half later, there's 35,000 for that
Right.
same van.
Yeah.
So, you know, automobile prices have stabilized a little bit, come down a little.
Mhm.
They're not coming down a lot.
Yeah.
They're way more expensive. And you're right on the hot tubs. I still shake my head when I think about how much we're selling jet setters for, the two-person hot spring.
Yeah.
It's 2 or 3 times more than I was selling the Grande for when I started, and it's just a two-person spa versus a seven-person spa.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. I don't think I'm not obviously out there selling hot tubs myself, so I don't think I even necessarily understand, but I just there's when I started in this industry, I could not have fathomed that a hot tub would sell for like $20,000. I would have thought, swim spas, that's what you would pay for like a swim spa was $20,000, not a hot tub. And so it just it just kind of blows my mind.
And Megan, I gotta tell you, $20,000 is we're starting to bundle things now.
Huh.
The saunas, 2 deals going on right now that I'm pretty sure will close before the end of the week. The customer wants a hot tub, a sauna, and a cold plunge.
Wow.
Yeah, the triple header is common these days, and
Wow.
collectively, we've got a lot of sales that get in the $100,000 range or more. People do custom saunas and a swim spa and a hot tub and a yeah, yeah, it's
Man.
not uncommon to have really big days.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you guys have the all of the Watkins products. So obviously they bought Sauna 360. They added a cold plunge this last year, and so it sounds like you guys are all in on all three of those products, going full in on the wellness.
Absolutely. I've been a cold plunge fan for nearly 20 years now. I've had one.
Really? You are
Yeah,
you are a cold plunge guy.
I am. And actually,
Okay,
I'm a water guy. So
got it.
one of our advertising messages is kind of unique because my sister was actually searching ancestry.com,
Okay, yeah.
and the name Bachman, if you do the research on it, it means man or family that stands by or lives near water.
No way.
So yeah, so one of my advertising messages with the evergreen type advertisings I do is, let people know that that's what the name stands for, and I will stand by all the quality products we sell. And so it's that message has gone over quite well.
Yeah,
It's
I
it's
bet it
mem it's
has.
mem it's memorable. So
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But how did you actually let me well, before I ask you that, do you need a break? Do you need to stand up or move around? Or are you
no,
doing okay?
no, I'm
Okay,
fine.
okay, all right. So, but what got you into doing a cold plunge? I mean, I feel like it feels like a kind of a newer fad or newer trend, but yeah, it's been around for a long time. What got you into doing it?
So my sister Annie went to Japan in the early '80s to study shiatsu
Oh,
under
okay.
a master. She actually lived there for 5 years.
Wow.
And so I went there to visit her for a couple of weeks. And while I was there, went to a Japanese temple where they have it's like a spa, and they got 3 hot tubs, hot, hotter, hottest, and then they also had cold plunges, cold, colder, and one with ice cubes in it. And so you start and you progress. You go in, you start with the hot tub, and starting out in a hot tub, I think 105 degrees. It's hotter
Mhm.
than normal. And
Ah,
then you go to a cold plunge that's like 50 degrees, and then you go to 107 degrees, and then you go to 45 degrees, and then you actually go up to 110 degrees, the hot
wow.
one, and then you sit in a cold plunge with ice. And I was hooked from
Yeah.
that moment on.
Contrast who I mean, who knew contrast therapy, not a new thing, which of course it's not. That's so fascinating that even way back then, of course, we didn't call it that, but that's what was being done as part of, I guess, our ritual.
It's such an experience. The plunging for me, I'm not gonna lie, the first 45 seconds to a minute is pretty miserable.
So it doesn't get better.
You do it enough, you know between your ears that it's not gonna hurt. You
Right.
still have to tough it out for that first minute, but then after a minute, it becomes tolerable, and after 2 minutes, it almost becomes euphoric. I love it. I love it.
That's fascinating. Now you get to sell them. Who would have thought that this would be where we're at now, is that it's become such a big trend in our society right now. It's crazy.
So we've actually been selling them for about 4 years. We took one of Watkins' entry-level hot tubs, the Roto spas,
Sure.
and I bought a chiller, and we retrofitted it ourselves,
So you
and
were
we were
like
selling.
making your own
Yeah,
cold plunge,
yeah, and
basically.
we basically invented one, if you will, and I had it at home up until just a month or so ago. I switched it out with one of Watkins' products because
Yeah.
wanted one of theirs, but I had that thing for years, and it would my set point temperature is 43 degrees, and in February it's 43 degrees, and in August it's 43 degrees, and you didn't have to do a dang thing to it. We
Yeah.
built a really bulletproof cold plunge, and I loved it.
Yeah. How does the new one compare to your homemade version?
I, well, I haven't gone through a winter with it yet,
Okay.
and that's kind of why I want to make sure it can handle Wisconsin winters.
Yeah.
They say, well,
So you've got it outside.
I do right next to
Okay.
my hot tub.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a ritual. You got to do it regularly, and you'll really enjoy it.
Right. Yeah. I've tried cold plunge, but I only got my feet in. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit of a wimp.
So I tell people the cold plunges, it's an acquired taste, kind of like
Yeah.
I didn't start out drinking dry martinis. I started out with Boone's Farm like everybody else, right? So start out with your cold plunge at like 60 degrees and work
There
your
you
way
go.
down.
There you go. Yeah. I keep saying that I will try it again, but yeah, I haven't made a second attempt yet. But it's one of those things where it's like I'm with you. Like I know that it will feel really good when I actually do it. But yeah, the actually doing it part is tough.
I have to talk myself into it. I really do. It still, but
Yeah.
it's so worth it after you do
Okay.
it.
Yeah. I mean, I believe you. I believe you. And I mean, we've seen the science behind it now too, right? I mean, like kind of know what it does to your body and the benefits that it brings to you. So it's like we know what it does. We just have to toughen up. I just have to toughen up. You're obviously doing fine. So I did want to return to training because I do think it's really important. I think that a lot of businesses think they're better at training than they actually are. Or it's just one of those things that's easy to get behind on or let go by the wayside or you get busy. I mean, how do you make sure that you guys are staying on top of it and actually, sticking with a program to get your people like really actually trained?
So it is important to be consistent with it. And so we do role playing here regularly, and we check in with each other. If you have an up that you didn't close the sale, we circle back and and why
Mhm.
what was the person's reason for not buying from us or from someone else or not buying at all, and just following up with your salespeople regularly
Yeah.
and encouraging them to go to these training seminars. Some of them can be to the salesperson can be a little bit redundant, but there's always a nugget of information you can get at each one.
Yeah.
And if you go to enough of them and you show enthusiasm, you can get invited to Top Gun.
Right.
And so we put a lot of emphasis on having salespeople that then they got down to a 5-day training period. It used to be a full week out to California, and they have a whole full days. They're 9 to 10 hour days of training
Mhm.
for sales training, and it's not a coincidence we sell a lot of hot tubs. I've got 6 Top Gunners between my 2 stores, and
Okay.
that is a lot of the reason I think we're winning when
Yeah.
where others might be flat.
Yeah. I mean, that those Top Gun trainings, it's like the cult of Scott Iverson, man.
Yes.
I just have never talked to anyone who's been who, who's been with him, spent time with him, trained with him, that just does not, think the world of Scott. So that doesn't surprise me.
I'm not a top gunner, but my wife is.
Huh? Well, you gotta divide and conquer, right?
Yeah.
Someone's gotta sell the product, someone's gotta run the business.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, what do you think is next for you guys? I mean, you're having a great year. You've got these two beautiful showrooms that you've remodeled. I mean, what do you see for the future for your business?
I really want to start building $250,000 swimming pools.
Okay.
The
All
really
right.
big one. We've done some over 100,000, but I really want to start doing concrete pools with acrylic walls and a vanishing edge where the water drops over the acrylic wall.
Yeah.
I've got a design in my head of how I can do this. I'm going to do it I'm going to start with the one at my retirement home.
Okay. 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 You're gonna be your own guinea pig.
I am. Yeah.
That's great though. I love that. I mean, I understand that urge, when you've got a vision and you're like, I am going to find someone to bring this to like make this happen. I do the same thing. Like I've got certain programs and certain like story ideas and series where it's like, I'm going to find the right partner and we are going to make this happen
Yeah.
because this is
So
going to be great.
that's definitely one of my goals, but just continue on the growth pattern with everything else. I mean, for us, hot tubs still make the world go round.
Yeah.
It's still over 70% of what Bachmann Pools and Spas does is hot tub and hot tub related. So I'm not gonna deviate from what's got us here.
Yeah.
But the other stuff is good too.
Yeah. Well, before we end, I do want to ask you about winning the Locks and Thompson Award. It's kind of like a lifetime achievement award for the Watkins group, I feel like. And I was there when you guys won, and I think the thing that stuck out to me the most, and I kind of got a little choked up just watching Vince Webker was a few rows in front of me. And he's the dealer out of North Dakota who
Yeah.
I know Vince and we've talked to him before. He's been in the magazine and on the podcast and all of that. And I think watching his excitement for you just like really got me kind of choked up because it was just like he was just so excited and happy for you and was on his feet cheering before they'd even said your name.
Yeah.
And so it was just like such a sweet moment. And so yeah, I'm just, what was that like for you guys to win that award? Were you surprised? Were you expecting it? Did they tell you?
No, they did not tell me. No, I was not expecting it. So surprised and so
Yeah.
unprepared. Vince, I've known Vince for a lot of years. Whenever he's also a BioGuard chemical dealer.
Okay.
So we see him and his wife Sarah twice per year when we go on the trips.
Yeah.
So I've got to know him quite well. Yeah, he and his wife are great people, really great people. Yeah. So I was really happy for him. He won it twice. I didn't
Yeah.
know he could even win that thing twice. But twice,
I
wow.
yeah, seriously.
Yeah, he is definitely a good advocate for the brand. Yeah,
Yes, and wellness in general. I'm
he
not sure
is.
I've met anyone who is so passionate about, what a hot tub can do for a body and a family. So,
Yeah.
well, all right. So to finish this off, I have our Spa Retailer 5. I ask everyone the same 5 questions at the end of every interview.
Okay.
Well, I say they're not too tough. We'll see how you do.
Okay.
What was your first real job?
My first. Wow. It wasn't working for my father. It was in a loading dock. Actually, it started. I was like 15 years old, I think, leading up to Christmas. There was it's called Swiss Colony. They package Swiss cheese and stuff for Christmas gifts.
Okay.
And so I was in a line where the box would come through and a label with the address to where it's getting sent to would go through a glue machine. And I'd stick it on the box and rub it in and push it aside and do it again and do it
That's
again and
amazing.
do it again.
Oh
And
my goodness.
the clock was right in front of me. So that was I knew working in a factory was not something I wanted to do the rest of my life.
Man.
In fact, I only did that for about a week, and I said, "Can I be on the loading dock?" So then I went to loading the boxes at the end of the conveyor into the truck,
Yeah.
and I did that year.
Okay.
That was my
Okay.
first shop. Yeah.
That's a new one. I've heard lots of restaurants and delivery things and washing dishes, but yeah, labels on a box in a
Sticking
factory,
labels on boxes.
in a cheese factory of all
And
things. Like that's like the most Wisconsin job I've ever heard.
yes,
Do you remember your first hot tub that you ever sold?
it was a jet setter, and we didn't have a trailer. I had a Ford Ranger pickup truck, and so we put it sideways on the bed of the truck and
Sure.
strapped it down.
Why
And
not?
it was a customer in South Madison and Fitchburg area, and it had to go down steps, and it wouldn't make it down the steps. So I had to remove the flight of. I have carpentry skills, right?
Right?
So I had to remove the set of steps to get it to drop down through the stairwell and put it in place. I'm like, what am I getting myself into?
Oh my goodness.
That was the first hot spring I sold. I consider that my first sale when really the first sale was the hair salon. But
Okay. Yeah, sure.
in my world, the QCAs didn't count.
Okay. QCA's man still around,
They are. I
still
know.
kicking, still kicking. Man, but yeah, what a great introduction to the hot tub industry where you're like removing stairs on your first
Ah,
delivery. Like, goodness gracious.
yeah. Yeah.
So looking back, what would you say was the biggest flop you've ever tried in your business? The one thing that just did not work out the way that you had envisioned.
I acquired a business in the Janesville market south of Madison.
Okay.
It's about 35, 40-minute drive south. And they were selling Catalina spas. I don't know why I bought it, to be honest with you, but they were doing in-ground pools, and he was doing really well with those. And the deal, long story, but the previous owner just wanted to sell. He had health issues. He was going to help see me through, get me started on these in-grounds, and he took the money and ran. So it kind of left me in the lurch. And
Oh
I
no.
really thought that I was going to be able to take the hot spring brand there, but there was a hot spring dealer, still is in Rockford, called Sunco,
Okay.
and they took exception to me selling the hot spring brand there.
I
So,
can't imagine why.
well, long story short, it just really didn't work out well. And right after acquired that store, the GM plant, they were manufacturing Tahoes and Yukons and stuff at the Janesville GM plant, a big plant employing thousands of people.
Yeah.
They closed that plant a year and a half after we acquired the store. So
Oh, yeah.
Janesville's very much a blue collar town. So it was hard to keep margins, number one. And I didn't get the brand I wanted, number two.
Yeah.
And the person I bought the business from left me in the lurch. So that was definitely fun. But here, there is a good side of the story.
Okay, good.
Part of the deal was I made the guy an offer to buy the building that we were in because I wanted the real estate.
Yep.
And I went through with buying the business, buying the building, and all the money we lost. We lost quite a bit of money over a 5-year period. It took me 5 years to throw the towel in. But then I sold the building and it became a Taco Bell. So I got all my money back when I sold the
Okay.
property.
Okay. Okay. Well, there you go. There you go. I mean, that's you scraped out ahead on that one, so that's good.
No, not ahead,
Not
even.
ahead, just
And a whole lot of grief.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like you can make mistakes in your business. They just can't be fatal. So what would you say is the best idea, the biggest game changer that you've brought to your business?
Hands down, acquiring Wolf, the Milwaukee
Okay.
market.
Okay.
That, that,
Man,
that
that's so funny. The worst was
yeah,
acquiring a business and the best was acquiring a business.
I learned how not to do it the first time.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. So, what do you have a favorite book, TV show, podcast, something that you either, enjoy going back to for just relaxation or that you like to learn from?
I don't read a whole lot of books, but there's this thing on my phone called Elevate where it challenges you every day. There are memory lessons, there's math lessons, there's
Okay.
speaking lessons, there's reading lessons,
Okay.
and it takes about 15 minutes every morning. But it's interesting for me, and
Huh.
it's a challenge. I look forward to that every
Yeah.
morning. It's a learning thing, and it helps. I know it helps keeps my math skills sharp and my memory skills.
Yeah. All right. That's interesting. That's a new one. I'll have to check that out. Elevate.
Elevate.
All right. All right. So the last and probably most important question of this entire interview is being from Wisconsin, does this mean you are a Green Bay Packers fan like I am?
Yes. And if
Okay.
Vince is listening, he's going to hate that.
That's fine. You know,
He's
he can have
definitely a
his
Vikings fan.
he can have his Vikings, but yeah, go Pack, go forever, born and bred. So
So you're a Packer fan too.
I am, yes.
Where are you from?
Well, I grew up in North Dakota,
Okay.
but you know, we don't have a team. And strangely enough, my mother, who grew up in New Mexico, was a Packers fan, and that is how she raised us. And so it's stuck.
Well, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You just had to. I mean, I couldn't let the whole interview go without bringing that up. So
Was that the fifth question?
nope, that was an added sixth question. We made it. You made it
Okay.
through the other six. That was the last one. So you are good to go off the hook. We can remain friends.
Good.
Well, Fred, thank you so much for doing this. I'm so glad we finally had the chance to talk, and I can't wait for everyone to see your beautiful store and hear the whole tale.
Both stores have that sort of 360 thing. If you go on our website, you
Okay.
can place yourself anywhere in the store and look around.
I'm pretty
So
sure
it's-
I've done that. So,
You have. Okay.
but yeah, everyone else can do that too because we only have pictures of, I think, the Brookfield store. So definitely go check out the Madison store as well. But thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Megan.
All
Have a
right.
great day.
The SpaRetailer Podcast is a production of SpaRetailer Magazine. Let us know what you think by leaving a review or emailing us at podcast@sparetailer.com. Thanks for listening.